Welcome back. You're in the locker room, and we are live from St. Vincent's College in Latrobe, Pennsylvania at Steelers training camp. It is so hot, and joining us to make sure that Wolf gets his fluids,
which is important.
Dr. Tanya Hagen from UPMC Sports Medicine. She's been working with the Pittsburgh Steelers for 6 years in training camp and preseason. Doc, Wolf wants to know one thing. How come in our day you'd have to look like a card table cramping up before they give you an IV? Today, there are IVs left and right.
Well, I think we've learned so much about heat illness, Tunch. I think that Wolf, should I say? I guess I'm teaching Wolf here, right?
Yeah, you better talk to Wolf because he could go right now.
Hey, I could be locking up in moments from now.
Well, I've heard some good cramping stories from Wolf anyway.
Oh, boy.
So, but I think that in the past, has it been 50 years? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, nice
in the
shot.
past several years,
I like that.
in the past several years, we've learned so much about heat illness. We've learned so much about dehydration and the role that that plays in heat cramping, which is what you're talking about,
Right.
and all the way through the spectrum of heat illness to heat exhaustion and even heat stroke that can kill guys.
So what do you do, like when you're at a restaurant and your buddy starts going, and starts doing his Joe Cocker imitation on the floor? What's the best thing to do?
Well, tell him to just put the food down on the floor so I can at least get to it,
Right.
would you, when you're having dinner?
That's exactly right. We don't want you guys fighting over food. But no, the best thing really is to stay hydrated. But usually, I mean, we're talking about these guys and even the general population. When you're exercising and you're sweating as much as these guys are, and you guys have been there, you're losing not only water, but you're losing sodium also. And so when you're talking about cramping, the theory is that it's really a sodium loss. And so what happens is these guys, not only are they hydrating with just water, but they're using electrolyte or they're using other kind of drink solutions that have carbohydrates and electrolytes in them to help replenish that.
So why don't you just grab a box of Arm & Hammer baking soda, throw a little bit in the water, and knock it down?
You'd be surprised.
Does that work?
It does. In fact, I'm a big fan of using Alka-Seltzer tablets sometimes when our guys are cramping out at my college. So,
Oh, where were you 20 years ago? You could have saved me some trips to the hospital.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the big deal here, though, is not only you're talking about why are we using IVs, and we really try and minimize that
Right.
use, but of course we use saline solution when a guy can't, or a gal, depending on the sport or situation, when they're unable to drink, when they're nauseated to the point that they can't get the fluids down. But what we're really trying to push is the pre-hydration, you know,
Right.
getting the fluids
Right.
in, getting the right kind of foods in and things like that before they get out on the field. And before they come out here, I mean, you know, we're talking about the players. We've got a lot of fans. I think there was some 14,000 the other day.
Yeah,
yep.
We got fans sitting out there sweating. They're also at risk for dehydration and heat illness, especially the younger kids and the older folks.
You know, Doc, we've got kids starting to play soccer and football coming up in the next few weeks. As parents and as coaches, what can we do to make sure that our kids don't run into dehydration?
Yeah. Well, it's a good point you bring up, Tench, especially about soccer, because, as you know, football is a sport that has scheduled breaks.
Right.
Something like soccer, you know, we just had the World Cup and everybody's watching that. We don't have a lot of breaks. You don't have a lot of chances to go to the sideline and you know, take a drink of Gatorade, Powerade, a juice, whatever you have. And so, again, that pre-hydration is so key. The problem is that people don't think about it until it's an hour before game time, and that's not enough. It really has to be 24, 48 hours of getting your system hydrated, getting your system used to taking in that amount of fluid, you know, before you're in competition or before you're out there practicing, before camp start for college athletes and high school athletes alike.
So you're saying if I'm going to do this show, I'm going to be a little hyper, a little active, like I got to start
Sweat,
pumping
look at him sweat.
Yeah, you got to pour the water down, what, 48 hours ahead of time?
Well,
So I don't want to lock up on the set.
Right, this is true. We don't want you to lock up on the set either.
It could be very ugly. I've been with him when he's locked up. It's not pretty
That's
sight.
exactly right. I think everybody, when it's this hot, when you're out in the heat, everybody needs to drink more fluids. The difference is you're probably not losing as much sodium, so you may not need the different sports drinks, the energy drinks, sports drinks, electrolytes that someone that's out there on the field really kind of, you know, pumping it out is going to need. So pure water is okay for the majority of the population, but when we're talking about exercise and really exercise beyond a half hour or an hour, you probably are going to want to replace with some solution that has some sodium, carbohydrates.
Yeah, because, Doc, as soon as you see, we'll walk off the set here, you'll hear his feet when you walk. Squish, I'll tell you what.
Like a duck.
Like a duck.
Let me ask you something, Doc. How dangerous is it for alcoholic beverages to be consumed by people, both sitting here watching and on the field. Because back in the 70s and 80s, for a large part of the contingent, you're talking about beer was like the Gatorade
Right.
in the 70s and 80s. So how dangerous is it?
Well, I mean, beer is a source of fluid. Don't, you know.
It
is fluid.
Yeah.
But alcohol actually works to dehydrate
Right.
you. And that's the big worry. So even when you're seeing, you know, college kids come in, and let's face it, it happens, and guys coming off of preseason and they've been partying or whatever, that's a danger. And then that's a huge risk when we're talking about the population, or you get, you know, people in a stadium, something like that. Maybe that's why everybody drops at NASCAR races. I don't know, but it's alcohol is a big deal. And when we talk about that, it's not just alcohol, but it's stimulants. I mean, so you know,
Too much coffee drinking.
Too much coffee drinking, even. I mean, Red Bull was just put on the NFL okay list, but it's a problem if someone's drinking too much. Too much stimulant is going to increase your risk of heat illness, dehydration.
Now, you've been doing this for 6 years.
6 years.
You like working with the guys. What do they like to you?
Oh, I love it. I mean, first of all, it's a change of scenery,
Right.
and a change of pace. The guys have always been great towards me. You know, first day at camp ever, the first person I met was Mark Bruner.
Yeah.
So,
What a
you know,
great
you can't
guy.
go wrong
Yeah.
there.
Yep.
And they've always just been wonderful and supportive, and come to me, you know, for help, and I appreciate that, and do what I can do.
Thanks for joining us, Tanya. And if Wolf starts cramping up, I'm going to come get you.
I'm here
Give
for
me
you.
an IV solution.
I'm here for
All
you,
right.
Wolf.
She recognized hat greatness. All right.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back after this. Touch and Wolf in the locker room.